Okay, in that case, I am. Are you got your thing, your hand hovering over the record button there? Okay, so I'm recording now, and I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, record.
Oh god, where the fuck is my cursor? I can't find my. Okay, hang on. Okay, my cursor's on this monitor. All right. Oh god. Okay. Sorry, I literally have Audacity on a different monitor. All right, so let me tell you something. There's been a whole lot of hubbub on social media. I don't know if you've been aware of it or not regarding PewDiePie and his whole taken out of context jokes about Jew people. Why did I say Jew people? Those
You
fucking
mean Jewish people?
Yeah, those fucking Jew people. Those goddamn. No. Okay, let me just cut to the chase here. The real injustice here is that I've been using a Blue Yeti microphone for about 5 years now, and I just found out today that if you are using the cardioid setting, the logo has to be facing you. That's why my audio's been sounding like shit. Fuck me for throwing the instruction manual out when I got it. Because I was just like, oh, it's USB. It just works.
Oh my god. I just had to drag a limiter onto my onto my channel so that when I laugh like that, it doesn't clip.
and to prove that I don't ever learn my lesson, you saw earlier today I sent you a picture of my newly acquired PS4 Slim sitting snugly in my car.
Yes, you did send me a picture of a special edition Uncharted 4 PS4.
Yes, I just picked up today. To prove that I still haven't learned my lesson, it took me 15 minutes to figure out how to turn it on.
Oh, your PS4 or your microphone?
No, my PS4.
Okay, to be fair, so I own a PS4 Pro, and it is a very nice console, and I'm very happy with it.
Let me just say really quick. This is the PS4 Slim. It's smaller than the PS3 Super Slim.
Yeah,
it's tiny.
So I had to take about 5 minutes to figure out how to turn the PS4 Pro on.
Yeah,
no joke. It was because the button is so small, and it's it's designed to have the buttons fit and into the design and not protrude. So if you're just if you're just looking at it for buttons, you can't see them. And the logo for all of the buttons is so tiny, and is not pearl white. It's a dark gray. I'm colorblind. So when colors are too close together, I can't see them. So I can't see the power button symbol until I put my face right up close to the PlayStation 4 Pro.
And with me, I'm just stupid.
So I took about 5 minutes to try and figure out how to turn this fucking thing on before I bowed my head in shame and took out the instruction manual, only to be told with a giant fat blue arrow in the fucking thing exactly where the power button was, right on the front where it would logically be, where I had been fucking looking and couldn't find it.
With me, to be fair to me, I was doing a lot of cleaning at the same time, so it's like what I was doing is I was hitting the disk eject button, which I forgot this has a drive on it. For some reason in the back of my mind I just thought this was like just purely just a hard drive and an internet connection. I forgot that they put a Blu-ray drive into it. So yeah, I just was like, I hit the button, it would beep, because like the PS3 would beep as well. You hit the button, it beeps. It's like, okay, you want me to wake up? I'm gonna go ahead and boot up, ba 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 ba, and I would go do something else, and I would be like, oh, it's shut off again. So I hit it again, and then get preoccupied with something else, and yeah. So yeah, it eventually I figured out, oh, I'm hitting the wrong button, because I didn't see the fucking power button.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got started up. I had to do a fucking update to it, which is normal. That, I mean, there's no point in joking about that. You just fucking do that. So I started up, got the update, and signed in and everything. And I picked up Bloodborne on the flash sale, because there's a flash sale going on until tomorrow. So I picked up Bloodborne. It's super, super cheap. Was gonna be like, oh hell yeah, I'll download it. You know, this is exactly the game I wanted to get the console for, along with Final Fantasy 15. But I'll pick that up later. And right now, I'm looking at a progress bar, 4.8 gigabytes of download so far out of 14.3 gigabytes, and I'm looking at about 7 hours to finish it.
The PS4's network card is not great.
Yeah, and I'm God damn it! It's like fucking Steam. It's not just the PS4. It's not just the PS3. Fucking Xbox One and the Wii U and the Xbox 360 are the exact same fucking thing. Why is it none of these console makers can have one, especially with Microsoft, have a decent fucking network card, and two, like, decent internet service? Because all of you motherfuckers are making us pay for the goddamn thing. Steam got, despite all of the shit with, despite everything, it's still a free service, and I still get 20 megabytes a second down off of Steam.
Yeah, it's entirely to do with the physical card, that the physical network card in the PS4. It's not PSN's service that is throttling it. It's actually the hardware on the PS4 is not fast enough to download as quickly as your computer.
I mean, I understand this thing costs fucking $250, which is fucking cheap as hell. And I know what they did. They wrangled a good deal with AMD. I mean, this is the same with Xbox One, because they're both going to AMD. They're both basically using the same fucking processor. And I know they wrangled a good deal, but it's like, could you maybe have spent an additional 10 cents on every console just to have a not shit network interface, a network card, please?
Yeah. That is one unfortunate thing, and that is actually the reason why I actually still go to stores like GameStop to purchase games physically, because sometimes I just don't want to deal with it, and it's like, at the end of the day, I know that even if I buy a physical game, I'm still gonna have to fucking patch it on the first day. Because that's like, apparently like the standard now. That's apparently just how shit is now, which really pisses me off, because don't ship an unfinished game, you fucks.
Okay,
I can't stand that.
I wanted to ask you something. Have you played Final Fantasy 15?
I have played Final Fantasy 15.
Okay, I need to ask you something, because while I had the PS4 in my hand, I was also browsing some of the games, and I took a look at the Final Fantasy 15 case. On the back it said 50 gigabyte install. Now I have to ask you, I'm assuming what's doing there is that it installs the entire game from the Blu-ray onto the hard drive?
That is an installation of the game, and it's not the whole game. It is just parts of the game, most of the game, onto the hard drive of your PS3. That is not a patch that you have to download. That is strictly writing from the disc to the PS4. Sorry, okay, PS4, not 3. That actually doesn't take very long. Okay,
now I have to ask you, does that mean I still need to have the disc in the drive to play it?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it doesn't install the whole game. It keeps things like like load and save information and cutscenes on the disk, and then preloads the textures onto your hard drive or something like that, so that most of the game runs smoothly, but then when something major or a major checkpoint happens, it has to spin up the disk to read that information. That's done to keep loading times to a minimum.
You know what I have been thinking about doing is I saw the part of the PS4 where you obviously can pop off that little section and access the hard drive.
Put in your own hard drive.
I've been thinking about getting an SSD.
So I don't know a lot about non PS4 Pro PS4s. Does your PS4 come with a solid state drive?
No, it comes with a 50.
Oh, okay.
No, it comes with a
Mine
50.
did.
Really? A 1 terabyte SSD?
The PS4 comes with an SSD, or the Pro comes with an SSD.
Wow. Shit. I mean, I guess that's why they call it the Pro. Because the Slim I have just has the cheapest shit 5400 RPM drive, which I'm surprised they fucking still make these things because they're so slow.
Or no, I'm sorry, I'm wrong. The PS4 Pro does not come with an SSD.
It comes with a.
It comes with a spinning drive. For some reason, I thought it did. Probably because the console itself is so quiet that I didn't like the loudest thing that I hear from my console ever is the spinning of the disc, and because most of the games like require that you install like over half the game, that doesn't actually happen very often. Usually just like during cutscenes.
Yeah, because I'm just looking at compatible hard drives right now. It's like, I kind of want to get an SSD. Just to speed it up somewhat.
Yeah, it like the SSD will like decrease your load times a little bit. The place where the SSD really makes a difference is installation. Like when you're installing a game from a disc.
Yeah.
It goes much faster. But to be honest, like it doesn't take that long to actually install a game from a disc on a PS4 Pro. It's very fast. Like just as a base, it's actually quite fast, and a lot of games actually offer the option to not install, like they did with the PS3, where it's like you can get a game and it's like you can read the entire game from the disc, but the load times will be kind of long, or you can spend a bunch of time at the beginning of the game installing it to have the loading times.
Oh, so if you're like renting the game or borrowing the game,
yeah.
Okay.
Or if you just don't want to sit there and let it install and you just want to get right into the game. Like, there were games on PS3 to do that. Like, Resonance of Fate, you could opt to not install, and it would just mean that your loading times were, twice as long. But if you were okay with that and you just really wanted to get to the game, didn't want to wait for a patch or an install, you could just boot the game right away.
That's cool. That's actually really neat. I didn't know it did that.
Mm-hmm. The PS3 did that as well.
Cool. Here's another thing that I think is an injustice against the Jewish people. Why did I just say that? having SSDs
before we go on, it should be mentioned that MDefMech is Jewish.
And you're Chinese.
Let's get that right out of the way.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning here.
Yeah, I kind of have to do like what Ethan did at the beginning of his video responding to all the bullshit with PewDiePie. He had to say, I'm Jewish. So, fucking hold your horses, Wall Street General. But here's... oh my god. I can't... Okay, yeah, just fucking... Let me just get into this. I know that in this age where we have a psychotic cheese puff in the White House right now, that times are weird. It's a very surreal time we're living in right now. But I kind of had a few like bastions of like stability, like just a few outcroppings of stability in this whole storm that is modern day. And it wasn't, I'm not necessarily saying that like, I guess what I'm trying to say was I did not expect the Wall Street Journal to stoop so low as they did. Because I don't know what you think about this whole situation. I don't know if you even know about it or even fucking care.
I don't know anything about it. I have no idea what's going on because I don't. I know there was some shit with JonTron a while back, and I know that there's some recent shit with PewDiePie, but I don't follow PewDiePie. And most of the people who play games on YouTube that I watch are people who don't involve themselves in that kind of stuff, like MF Pallytime. Yeah. Basically just makes Heroes of the Storm, Warcraft, and like Dark Souls videos, and so he doesn't really ever talk about like video game YouTube community stuff. So I'm completely out of the loop with this whole thing.
Okay, well, let me try to boil it down. Let me try to hack and slash
the Cliff Notes.
Yeah, let me hack and slash and give you the Walmart version of this. Basically, in the past year or so, PewDiePie's been moving from Let's Plays to more comedy and commentary, sort of like what iDubbbz and H3H3 and all these guys are doing. Yeah, and it's actually making him very interesting because before I kind of rode the bandwagon of, here's a fun, stupid YouTuber, making Let's Plays and shit, and then I just got kind of sick of it. But I've kind of come back because he's trying new things and stuff, and he's been way more outspoken about certain things. Like, this Wall Street Journal video, what it did was they had 3 reporters watch, like, I think nearly 1,000 of his videos, and they sort of went in it with a bias. They went in with a bias that he was an anti-Semite. So that's what they were looking for. They were looking for jokes that were anti-Semitic or skits that were anti-Semitic, and they found them. And what they did was they cut the clips completely out of context to make it seem like he was anti-Semitic and pro-Nazi and all that.
Oh my god!
Yeah, like I don't know if you remember the episode of The Simpsons where Homer Simpson was accused of grabbing. They had babysitter, and he drove the babysitter home and. And obviously he was drunk. He was drunk driving a babysitter back home. And he let her, and after the comedy of drunk driving, because again it's the early 90s, it's totally it's wacky and fun. The drunk driving is wacky and fun. And he lets her out, and as she's coming out, there's a gummy bear on her ass. So he peels away Homer Simpson being Homer Simpson, he's like, "Ooh, gummy bear." So he pulls it off, and she turns around and sees him just like staring at this gummy bear, which is on her ass with pure lust, and screams and runs away. Turns out somebody was filming him doing this, and the news outlet recorded him and cut it up to make it seem like he was totally grabbing this girl's ass, and it like ruined his reputation and shit. That's basically what happened to PewDiePie.
Well, here's my thing. So I have no idea if PewDiePie is actually anti-Semitic. I can say that having watched like 3 of his videos, I don't really get the feeling that he's a terribly political person. It seems more like he's more interested in screeching.
He's very different now.
Okay. Well, I saw old PewDiePie, I guess. But here's my thing. What does the Wall Street Journal care about a YouTuber?
Well, okay, here's why they care about, and this is something that Sargon of Akkad looked into. Because again, I watched Sargon of Akkad. Go ahead and send me the hate mail. He looked into it, and here's why the Wall Street Journal cares about PewDiePie. PewDiePie has 53 million subscribers. Each one of his videos gets 2 to 3 million views. The Wall Street Journal has 2 million print subscribers. We don't know how many online subscribers they have, but what we do know is on YouTube, the Wall Street Journal has about 250,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel, and their videos get a couple thousand views each. So what people are saying is that old media, like the Wall Street Journal, like Wired, are seeing the writing on the wall, and they're desperate. And instead of trying to compete, they're trying to take down what they see as a threat, which is amazing to me, because while PewDiePie is getting more into commentary and comedy, he's not a direct target. He's not directly targeting like the Wall Street Journal. But from when we can look at the numbers, the old media is not competitive anymore. That's what a lot of people are seeing, is that it's a fear response, like a hurt animal or a dying animal. Now that's very conspiratorial, and I don't want to give it too much credit yet, because we don't have any real evidence proving that, but again, that's something that everybody's speculating as to why the Wall Street Journal of all outlets is doing this. Yeah. But yeah, it's just because when you look at what they took out of context and you actually go watch the full videos, the jokes fit what was going on. Like the big one that everyone's talking about is he found this website called Fiverr. And basically what it is it's a site where you can pay somebody to do anything you want.
Yeah, I've seen that website.
Yeah,
I'm familiar with that website.
Yeah, so he wanted to point out he wanted to try to see how far he could push it, and to show just how fucking awful that is. And he got in, and because it's like what happened was he first got this guy who pretends to be Jesus. He got a guy who pretends to be Jesus to say Hitler did nothing wrong. And then he decided to up it and try to see if he can find anybody on that site to put up a sign saying "Kill all the Jews," and then say subscribe to Keemstar. And he did not expect somebody to do it, but somebody did it. Somebody did it. And you can even look at his response when he watches the video. It's like he does. The look on his face is like, holy shit, somebody actually fucking did this. And he, at the end of that video, he apologizes. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't know somebody would actually do that. And then there's another video where there was that whole YouTube's hero thing where everybody was angry about, because it basically you signed up for it and it gave you moderation powers, and it had like achievements and points and levels.
Oh, I remember
on it.
that. I remember YouTube Heroes.
Yeah, so he made a video mocking it where he signed up for YouTube Heroes, put on his "Make America Great Again" hats, and then watched YouTube Hero tutorial videos, which were Hitler rallies. So it's like you take these out of context, and it's like, wow, if you take it completely out of context, you're like, wow, Felix is a fucking racist piece of shit. Wow, fuck him. But if you look at it in context, it's like, yeah, the jokes are kind of cringy and maybe were pushed a little bit too far, but they still make sense in context. That's
and they make no indication whatsoever that he is anti-Semitic. I think that's the point. He's
the point. Yeah. Well, in the final, I guess, And this is something that really irks me, is that there's a white supremacist website called the Daily Stormer, and they decided they were going to troll Felix, and on their banner they said #1 fan site of PewDiePie. And everybody took this.
God.
Everybody took this to be like, oh, and what irks me about that is you can't control who your fans are. You really can't. I mean, you know from the GCC, we had some pretty unsavory people who were our fans, and we couldn't control that. We can't. And we shouldn't control that. I think. I think it's like. It's something we can't control, and it's something we really shouldn't try to control, because it's like everybody has a right to watch what they want to watch or listen to what they want to listen to. That's what I honestly think, and along with being able to say whatever they want to say, and I guess in this current climate that makes me a fucking Nazi, which is fucking weird. I mean, I guess I'm the first Jew Nazi, or no, Milo's the first Jew Nazi. But yeah, it's just, and funny enough, when all this shit blew up, the Daily Stormer went and changed their banner and said #1 fan site of the Wall Street Journal, and then cropped photos of the 3 journalists and cropped them onto the 3 Musketeers. So now the Daily Stormer is the #1 fan site of the Wall Street Journal. I mean, you can go on their website right now and look. It should be on their banner. Let me just double check. Yeah, but yeah, I know you do a really good job of not paying attention to what's going on, and I honestly envy you for that.
I like to think that I do a very good job of not ever learning about things that would make me angry.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. But here's more to the point here. The vibe that I have been getting from the last few... Let me preface this with a few things. First of all, I'm... No, that's political talk. I'm not going to say anything.
Okay, that's fine.
I'm not going to elaborate on that. Film at 11. Check my Tumblr blog for it later.
Well,
let me say this, because this is less political and me more talking about media. The Wall Street Journal has fallen to an all new low, from what I'm hearing here. And what it really does sound like is exactly what you said. They're trying to stay relevant. They're desperately trying to stay relevant in an era where they know they are losing their ability to sway opinions to really stupid people on YouTube. And maybe that's a good thing, maybe that's a bad thing. But, it should be noted, most people who rely on print media for all of their news, or strictly radio for all their news, those people are old and they're going to die soon.
Which means they have to adapt.
That's not to say that there aren't millennials who listen to NPR, for example, and there aren't millennials who watch Fox News, for another example, but those people are lesser in amount, not in stature, but lesser in amount than the people who take outlets like Fox News or NPR as their end-all be-all coverage of all things news. And yes, you are right. I do agree. Outlets like the Wall Street Journal do need to do things to remain relevant. But fabricating stupid shit for the sake of online clicks is the very thing that lots of millennials ruthlessly make fun of video game outlets for doing nowadays. How people, when they review games, and make these clickbait titles for the games, okay? We make fun of that shit. And so those of you who are caught up in this whole thing with the Wall Street Journal and you know, maybe people who are millennials who are, you know, of our generation, my generation, who are getting started with the Wall Street Journal thing, remember that you're being hypocritical when you make fun of clickbaity things from video game outlets, but then totally get sucked into clickbaity things from the Wall Street Journal. Because let me tell you, in all the years that I have watched and listened to and read print and radio and television news media, they are no more or less corrupt than the guys at IGN who take free paintball trips from Infinity Ward for good coverage.
I remember that.
Or whatever. Was it Infinity Ward or was it the one? It was Activision. I can't remember.
Well, Activision is Infinity Ward. They're both the same.
Here's the thing. Those fuckers, the kind of people that Jim Sterling makes fun of, who accept bribes and things that definitely aren't bribes but are basically bribes, you know, for nice or nicer reviews of video games from publishers, okay? Those guys are no better or worse than the people in any advertisement funded news media.
Let me just say something right now. I totally understand that, you know, Jim Sterling is okay. Let's just. I know that Jim Sterling is an SJW cuck and blah 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 whatever. Okay, I understand that he totally is, and he is proud of that. But here's the thing: I don't go to Jim Sterling to learn about political commentary or anything like that. I go to Jim Sterling to learn about fucking video games, and that's all I care about. Whatever the fuck he does outside of his YouTube channel and Jimquisition, I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck that he's a social justice warrior, whatever. I don't care. And you just have to remember that not everybody is fucking perfect, or not everybody fits your. I shouldn't say not everybody's perfect. Not everybody fits your worldview. That doesn't mean you should completely disregard them. I know I'm jumping onto another topic here, but it's just something I want to get out right now. Yeah, there's a lot of things I don't agree with Jim Sterling, but when he talks about video games, I fucking listen because he knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah, and when he talks about you know, things like video game business, like, he's well connected in the world of video game business. He has a lot of friends who work at various kinds of production, development, and publication outlets. He has many times interviewed, and of course not record, but interviewed and relayed conversations with employees at GameStop and Best Buy. I mean, there's a whole episode we've been planning on doing that we actually did, but then lost the recording of,
which we will record in a couple
where
weeks.
We talk about a bunch of stuff regarding the kinds of retail culture that Jim Sterling covered in his video about GameStop. Which, if you guys have not seen the Jimquisition episode about GameStop, you need to go to YouTube right now and just search Jimquisition GameStop and see that episode, because it is a very insightful look into what American retail is like in the context of the world of video game entertainment. You know, and it's like, regardless of whatever his political opinions might be, he is absolutely qualified to talk about those sorts of things because he has done his research.
Yeah, and let me just be fair. Like, when Sargon of Akkad talks about issues regarding what happens on university campuses and stuff like that, I will listen to him. But the second he starts riding fucking Donald Trump's cock, I stop listening, because I know he has a full fucking hard-on for Donald Trump. The same with Milo Yiannopoulos. Milo makes really good points regarding feminism, but the second he starts talking about transgendered people and shit like that, I stop fucking listening to him. I think that Milo's a piece of shit, but he has a few good points. You know, I guess
even Hitler could paint.
Yeah, well, actually, that's a good that's a good thing I want to point out. Did you know that George W. Bush is a really good painter?
Oh my God! Have you seen all the pictures of George W. Bush's paintings?
He's really fucking. He's really fucking
They're
good.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
I'm so angry. Every time I see this, I'm so angry. I'm like, he is a great painter.
Okay. George W. Bush. Sorry, I got a mouthful of pepperoni. I've been munching on. I discovered the magic of turkey pepperoni, and it's fucking amazing. No, George W. Bush is proof of why you shouldn't force your child to grow up the way you want them to grow up. 'Cause he was a fucking horrible president. He was a horrible governor. But goddamn, he's a fucking amazing artist.
You guys can Google it. There's a great I can't remember what the news outlet was, but there's a great article about it on some news outlet on their online on their website. I just Google George W. Bush painting, and there's a great article and a great set of pictures of all the things he's painted, and they're very interesting to see because he is actually a very good painter.
Yes, he's a incredible painter, and again, like I said, it's like this is evidence to any future parents out there. Let your kid do what they enjoy. Do not force your dreams onto your kid, because I guarantee that's why George W. Bush is the way he is, and that's why he has the legacy he is. I don't think he ever wanted to be a fucking politician, but that's what his dad was into, and that's what it was expected of him. It's let your kid. I mean, obviously don't let your, if your kid's like fucking wanting to suck dick on, for porn and shit, don't let them do that. But, if they want to play the guitar, let them play the guitar. If they want to paint, let them paint,
Dude, and once they're 18, if they want to suck cock for money and it's legal in your state, fuck it.
Yeah, fuck it. Once they're 18, fuck it. Let them do what they want.
Kick them out of the house.
Yeah. Like Homer J. Simpson once said, once you're 18, you're out of the house. I'm all talked out, and you gotta go to bed here very soon, so we should probably hit up our cool shit.
Oh, wait, we've only been recording for 36 minutes, but, we like I said, we recorded an entire episode, and it is gone.
Yeah, because
down the bowels of the internet hole.
Or more like MDFMX too fucking retarded to click yes when he persistently hits X on Audacity to close it. He's too fucking stupid to hit yes instead of don't save.
Yeah,
because I grew up in an age where you had to just fucking constantly click through installation of Why am I blaming software developers for protecting their asses with EULAs? Fuck it. Okay, I'm sorry. All right, we should get into our cool shit because I know you gotta go to bed pretty soon. Even though
I got some time before I gotta go to bed. I gotta eat first.
Oh yeah, well I'm trying to be your parent, which you probably don't fucking need. Dude, that would make a horrible fucking parent. Dude,
you'll get no argument from our fans, I think.
It amazes me that people my age are like I talk to some of my real life friends and they've got like 3 fucking kids. One of them is in middle school. And they like run a household and they like have bills and shit. I'm just like, you're fucking Einstein. How the hell you deal with this shit? I would have fucking killed them. Like the first night they woke me up, I would have just been in there with a fucking pillow, just shut up. And I tell them that, and they're like, let me tell you about the magic of Absolute Vodka. I am an alcoholic. I have cirrhosis. Which, funnily enough, that's what I'm drinking right now is Absolute Vodka, but that's neither here nor there. So yeah, we should probably get into our cool shit so we can end this episode so you can go.
I'm actually going to change one of my cool shits here.
Oh, you can't do that, dude. We're gonna anger the gods.
I'm gonna get rid of one of my cool things had been the Power Rangers trailer, but I'm changing it.
Oh my god, dude! Cthulhu's gonna fucking tickle your butthole this when you're asleep, which you probably enjoyed. I actually enjoyed that as well. I mean, if you have a face full of tentacles, that's really all you can do is just tickle buttholes.
That's really all that's left for you. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Granted, Cthulhu is okay. Okay, before I listened to the short story, I kept calling Cthulhu like everybody else does. But after I listened to the short story, I called him Cthulhu because I listened to this short story where Cthulhu is treated as a military asset in this fictional Cold War between the USSR and America, where they actually use like Shoggoths and Cthulhu as weapons of mass destruction. and in the US military, Cthulhu is called Cthulhu. Okay, I'll include, since I'm actually technically this is kind of a cool shit, I'll just include it in my cool shit. It's called A Colder War, a novelette by Charles Strouse, which he's done other novels which are just as excellent, and they kind of borderline into Lovecraftian horror, but I'll include this. So I'm kind of breaking the rules here in that I'm having 3 cool things just because I'm kind of just rambling right now. So sorry, but okay, I'll shut up. You go into your thing.
Okay. My first cool thing is, now this is an old game. This game came out in December of 2015, but I do know that this studio that makes these in this series is kind of a niche thing. A long time ago on an old podcast, I talked about a game called Divinity Dragon Commander. Which is an excellent RTS game where you are a half man, half dragon, and you can fuck an undead skeleton princess.
Yeah, I remember that was a big thing about fucking a skeleton.
And it was funny because like if you played that game as a liberal, because you had to make political decisions and stuff. If you played that game as a liberal, marrying the undead princess was the only way to keep the undead like allies, because the undead were the hyper religious conservatives, because they were a race of people who had transcended death, so they were naturally the only race that believed in God.
That kind of makes a weird sense. And so like if you wanted to please like the elves and stuff, you had to like legalize marijuana and legalize gay marriage. And if you wanted to please the dwarves, you had to take money away from the church to build infrastructure. And if you wanted to please the lizard people, you had to be welcoming to outsiders and stuff, and all the things that the undead fucking hate, because they're basically conservative evangelical Christians. But if you married their princess, I know I'm going off topic here, but this is a great story. I fucking love it. If you married their princess and you got into her character story was that she basically had like osteoporosis, where she had a disease that was causing her bones to become brittle and turn to dust. Now, undead can't die, but she basically had the only thing that could essentially kill an undead. And it was very slowly... It would basically just, like, make her bones disintegrate to where she just became a vegetable.
Yeah, exactly. And so she basically had undead cancer, if you will. And her character story is you curing her of it, or you can elect not to. But I mean, she's actually a really cool character, and you kind of want to.
Yeah, she's like super nice and everything.
Yeah, her name is Ophelia, and one of the paths you can take is you can get the gnomes, they were gnomes, who were the race of scientists and technologists. You could get the gnomes to build her a robotic body made out of gold. And if you did then the undead would go absolutely nuts because she would be the first undead to transcend the only thing that can kill undead. Besides, removal of the spirit from the body or whatever. And
they're like really fucking pissed off, aren't they?
No. Because you let her be reborn, and she has this beautiful golden body, this sentient golden body. She becomes essentially the Pope, because they look to her and revere her as this Jesus-like figure who was going to die and was reborn anew, as a miracle. And since you are married to her and you're essentially married to the Pope, the undead love you. And
now I remember something totally different where you give her a new body and the undead are just unbelievably pissed off at you.
Yes, there's a body. So there's one where you can turn her into a zombie, and there's one where you can turn her into a vampire. And
yeah, I think it's a vampire one.
I think it's the vampire one where they
because she becomes like a super sexy vampire and all that.
Yeah, but like the option where she becomes this golden robot is seriously the funniest option if you play as a liberal. Because if you play as a liberal, like right until you get to the point where you're about to give her your new body, you're about on the ropes with the undead wanting to pull out of the alliance with you. Because they're just so mad at you legalizing gay marriage and letting immigrants in.
So you're saying that all the undead are wearing MAGA hats? Which I kind of...
it'd be great if they retroactively like patched it and like the undead slogan was "Make Rivallon Great Again."
Which, you know what? I kind of... Because, okay, in the Berkeley riots, a woman got pepper sprayed because she was wearing a hat that looked like it said "Make America Great Again," but it actually said "Make Bitcoin Great Again." And she got pepper sprayed for it, which I know we're laughing about. It's fucking horrible that, we're reacting to free speech with violence, which is totally fucking wrong. But I kind of want to get a hat that says "Make MLP Great Again." So I could say I have a mama hat. make MLP great again, because I don't fucking know what the hell is going on in the Brony fandom. I've been out of that shit for like a year. Anyway, sorry, go ahead. I'm rambling.
Anyways, yeah, that Dravidian Dragon Commander, it's an excellent game. That's not what my cool shit is. My cool shit today is technically a sequel to Divinity Dragon Commander, but it's the next game in the Divinity series, and it's called Divinity Original Sin. And it's kind of a niche game because it's very much the same vein as Baldur's Gate. It's the same, almost exactly the same kind of game as Baldur's Gate, but instead of being hard based on exclusively based on Dungeons and Dragons 2nd edition rules, it's based on its own in-house set of rules that are very similar to Dungeons and Dragons 4th edition, with some minor changes and the removal of the grid and a bit more complexity added to it than 4th edition. And so I figure probably not that many people who listen to us, maybe they haven't played this game. I can't recommend it enough. I wasn't that big a fan of Baldur's Gate, and the games that development team went on to do. I did really like Pillars of Eternity, even though my computer couldn't run it very well. But I absolutely adore Divinity Original Sin because it has one of the best co-op engines I've ever seen.
Well, I can say that I tried to kill off that one bald dude with the bad attitude, and I couldn't. I don't think I could in the game. The one bald guy on the airship or whatever the fuck ship it was. I don't even know I'm talking about the same game.
No, you're thinking of Dragon Commander.
Okay, yeah, that one bald guy. Fuck that guy.
He was annoying.
That guy was a piece of shit. Fuck him.
No, I'm talking about Divinity Original Sin, which is a role playing game, not an RTS. It's a strategy role playing, but not real time strategy. It's sort of it's very similar to Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah, I think it's I think it's that game I played that made me want to have sex with the dragons, and I do want to have sex with a dragon, even though they're not real. I mean, we have Miss Kobayashi's dragon maid, but you know, I mean, okay, like Toru is just fucking annoying to me. Kana is adorable and a little child, and I don't want to fuck her because that would be horrible because she's an adorable little child. And Fafnir is just a fucking pleb who plays Dark Souls. So I guess I could the only dragon I could really fuck is Quetzalcoatl, but she's totally into underage little boys who are trying to pretend to be wizards. This only makes sense if you've watched the anime or have read the manga. So if you have not, I am terribly sorry because that made absolutely no sense to you.
It is actually a really fun anime.
It is. Okay, let me be serious right now. I expected that anime and the manga to be complete shit. I expected it to be just the most lolly-baiting, just fucking garbage, but it's really fucking adorable. I really enjoy it. It's I watch it and I'm like, this is good. I enjoyed it. And I do love the fact that Quetzalcoatl was just like trying to find a place to live, and it's like, I can teach you agriculture, or you can just fuck the hell out of me. I mean, you know, okay, I could teach you how to farm, or you could just fuck my butthole. Just whatever you want to do, and the kid's just like, I don't want to do either one of those things. Just please leave. I feel bad for Quetzalcoatl because she doesn't know what to do. She's just a fucking drunk asshole. Like I am. I relate to Quetzalcoatl a lot, at least in the anime. I don't know how they are in real life. Am I rambling right now? Please say something in bullshit.
I'm still here.
Okay.
I was just waiting for you to ramble yourself out.
Okay, I'm done. I don't know. Okay. It's like I'm normally not attracted to the big-titted Dumbo bimbo, but I don't know what it is. But Quetzalcoatl is just really, really just kind of.
But being a big-titted Dumbo bimbo yourself, you find common ground.
Well, I'm basically Roadhog from Overwatch. I mean, have you seen the highlight intro for Roadhog?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, where he's just got plates of where it's obviously he's eaten thousands of calories of Chinese cuisine, and he's just laying there sleeping, and there's dumplings everywhere. That's basically me. That's how I treat cuisine from around the world. It's just I eat 50 of whatever, and I fall asleep on the grounds, and I just look like a fucking mess. That's how I am. It's like I enjoy your culture to excess and shame.
And then I pass out on the floor.
Yes, and then I pass out on the floor, snoring mightily while I'm wearing my CPAP. I swear to God, Roadhog is wearing a CPAP mask. That's how I relate to him. He's wearing a CPAP mask like I am. So anyway, obviously my first cool thing was a freebie. It was A Colder War by Charles Strauss because I rambled on for some fucking reason. So yeah, go read that novelette. It's really fucking awesome. The second legit thing I have is from a guy who, if you're not already subscribed to him, I'm honestly surprised because this dude's fucking awesome. He does reviews of old consoles, of old computer systems. This dude's really fucking awesome. Lazy Game Reviews. Does really good game reviews, and he's launched a new channel called LGR Foods because there's this thing he was doing on Twitter where he was posting pictures of these sandwiches he was eating throughout the day, and people were like, those are really awesome sandwiches. You should make videos of you making those sandwiches, and that's what he's fucking done. This is a channel where Lazy Game Reviews shows off himself making sandwiches and ramen bowls and soup bowls and just all the wonderful, delightful things he's making. And I challenge you to come away from watching the videos on his channel not hungry. Because, goddamn, that dude knows how to make a fucking sandwich. And even though he's a fucking white guy, he knows how to make a fucking ramen bowl that's appealing. Which I think is a very rare trait indeed. And I'm not going to ask bullshit to comment on that because he's Chinese, not Japanese.
And Chinese people have absolutely no fucking idea what ramen is.
Yeah, they're all about the... I don't know what you guys are about because Chinese food is so fucking Americanized here in the States. I don't know what you guys are about. Was it like fucking burying eggs in dirt or something? I don't fucking know.
20,000-year-old fermented egg or whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
That sounds disgusting though.
That's so fucking gross.
The duck egg or whatever it is.
It's like, okay, not to just pick on the Chinese for not to just pick on the Chinese for that shit. The fucking Inuit do the same. The Inuit and the Vikings do the same fucking shit where they slaughter a seal and they stuff it full of birds and then they bury it for like fucking 5 fucking years and they dig it up and they eat the birds and they just fucking go nuts and like fuck their sister or whatever. It's like, God damn it, humanity! Can't you just like cook a regular fucking meal and not like ferment something for 17 goddamn years? You know, it's not just the Chinese, it's not just the Inuit, it's not just the Vikings. Everybody does weird fucking shit. Just why the fuck is humanity so goddamn weird?
Century egg or pidan, also known as preserved egg, 100-year egg, 1,000-year egg, 1,000-year-old egg, and millennium egg, is a Chinese preserved food product and delicacy made by preserving duck, chicken, or quail eggs in a mixture of clay, ash, salt, quicklime, and rice hulls for several weeks to several months, depending on the method of processing. Through the process, the yolk becomes a dark green to gray color with a creamy consistency and strong flavor due to hydrogen sulfide and ammonia present, while the white becomes a dark brown, translucent jelly with a salty flavor. The transforming agent in the egg is alkaline salt, which gradually raises the pH of the egg to around 9 to 12 during the curing process. This chemical process breaks down some of the complex flavorless proteins and fats, which produces a variety of small flavorful compounds.
Okay, let me just say something. I do appreciate that you read all of that off of Wikipedia. I spent many tens of hours in Wikipedia, so I know exactly how a Wikipedia article reads. Let me just say, when I was growing up, I grew up in Germany as a American military brat, and we took a lot of field trips to German mines and salt mines and slate pits and stuff. And let me just say, if the food you are eating looks like a geode, which I that's one of the cool things about going into mines in Germany and other heavily mined areas is you find geodes and you smash them open with a hammer and you discover a little crystal inside. You know, just a wonderful little crystal. It's really awesome and amazing to do that, where you just find a fucking rock that looks like any other rock and you smash it open and it's just this beautiful little thing inside. If your food looks like that, you're doing something wrong. Because that's what century eggs look like. Century eggs look like geodes. And and the food you eat shouldn't look like fucking that. I know I'm being a white guy right now. I know I'm cultural appropriating. I know I'm a cisgendered bisexual white guy right now, just like fucking everything in sight and saying to hell with the Moors and whatever. I don't give a fuck. If your food looks like a goddamn geode, you're doing something wrong. I don't give a fuck.
So going back to my
your second
first
cool
one,
thing,
because I haven't finished my first one yet.
Well, my cool things, because I cheated. My first two cool things was The Colder War, a novelette by Charles Strauss, which you should totally fucking read. And then my second cool thing is LGR Foods by a fucking white guy, a white cisgendered male. Oh, fucking disgusting. Making sandwiches and ramen bowls. They're fucking delicious. Okay, on to you. Back to you.
Going back to my first one, because I did get to explain why it's my cool thing. I've actually been playing it co-op with a friend. And I have to say, it is one of the best co-op experiences I've ever had, because much like in, like, say, like a BioWare game like Mass Effect, right, where you have conversation trees and the responses that you pick can change your stats and change how charming you are. It can also change your reputation with individuals and stuff like that. Well, when you do those conversations, both you and the other player are involved in them, and both of you get to pick dialogue options that can actually end with your characters arguing with each other. And so you actually get to roleplay out like these, for a video game, fairly complex conversations that, like, if you're playing it by yourself, it's not very fun because it feels like you're roleplaying with yourself. But if you're playing with, like, a friend, then it can be really funny, because then you can make your characters argue with each other or agree with each other and get into fights over things. Plus, I mean, it's got a really good co-op battle system, because it's basically Dungeons and Dragons. Anyways, on to my second cool thing, which is a channel I know I've linked before on a previous podcast, but I feel it bears repeating, and that is the channel on YouTube called Cooking with Dog, which is a phenomenal cooking show on YouTube. And it is great, and I love it. And it's hosted by a dog who, I'm very sad to say, passed away recently. The Cooking with dog, Francis, is dead. However, they are continuing to create episodes, but now the show is hosted by a plushy dog. So,
I'm watching
Francis.
one of their videos, and I do see that dog is definitely a plushy dog. That's not a real dog.
You can tell because you've seen lots of dogs before.
Yes, I've been around dogs before, and usually, like, the dogs I've been around are all about licking body parts on my body without my consent. Let me just say. You know, I'm not trying to say that dogs have raped me, but dogs have raped me. And yeah, I could definitely tell this is a plushy dog.
It's also too small to be a real dog?
Yeah, it's very small. Like, well, it's like, obviously the dog when it was alive was the poodle. and the replacement fake dog is way too small than any poodle that's ever been around. Because poodles are quite large. Surprising a few people who've never been around poodles. Also, in watching some of these videos, if you have what is called a smartphone, either using the operating system Android or iOS, depending... Why am I doing this? Why am I pretending that my audience is fucking stupid? Which you obviously are not. The audience that's listening to FAPcast is very fucking smart, but you are kind of mentally off if you are listening to us.
For which we do not apologize.
We're not enabling you whatsoever. But I will say, if you are listening to this on a mobile device, a lot of their videos are 360-degree videos, which means if you're watching these videos on a mobile device, you can move the camera around by actually moving your phone around your person, which... from the videos I've seen so far, using 360-degree view just means you look like a fucking psychopath in public, because you're spinning it around. Which, okay, in the privacy of your own home, it's really fucking cool, because it's like, oh, you're watching this video and you spin around and it's like you're in the room with the person in the video. But if you're in public, you look like a fucking asshole. Let me just say, and they do have quite a few 360-degree videos. So be careful. Don't get too into videos if you value your reputation in the real meat space. Which, you know, if you listen to this podcast, you really fucking don't. You've whatever. I don't. Ben and bullshit, you need to fucking put limitations on me. I need a shock collar. I need a shock collar that you fucking control. So when I ramble too much, you just fucking give me the shock and I stay focused. I guess what I'm trying to say is I should be your slave.
All right. Why don't you hit us with your last cool thing, MDevMec? Before our audience gets drunk just listening to you.
Oh my god. That would be amazing. I'd be like that one Pokemon in Pokemon.
Rambling.
Yeah, I'd be like that one Pokemon in Pokemon Sun and Moon, which is just literally pheromones. If I had that power, oh my god. Oh my god. All right. So, please stop laughing. All right. My final cool thing is a Maximus Gaming. And the reason I'm including them as a cool thing is not because they do anything gaming, because they're like one of those channels which live streams a video game that you've never fucking heard of, that's on an obscure like Polish website that's so hardcore simulation that anybody who buys the fucking game you just assume is mentally ill. But I'm not linking them for that reason. I don't want you to watch his Let's Play videos of this extremely hardcore tank simulation game, if it even is a game. The reason I'm linking his channel is because he looks at current models of main battle tanks and attack helicopters and attack gunships and ground attack aircraft as if they were cars. He looks at like what the Russian military is using currently, what the American military is using currently, and describes them and judges them as if they were cars you be using, you could purchase and buy. I don't know how to exactly explain it, but he reviews these main battle tanks as if they were cars, and it's strangely fascinating. I'd recommend you just watch his reviews, because if you try to watch his Let's Plays of these tank simulation games, you wanna either slit your fucking wrists or buy these fucking games. I don't know. It takes a certain person to fucking appreciate these fucking games. But his reviews of main battle tanks are just bar none. Did you understand anything I just fucking said in bullshit?
Sorry, I wasn't listening because I was watching his video on the German PZH 2000.
That's a good fucking video. See, yeah, it's like, okay, the PZH 2000, he reviews it like you would review a Honda Civic.
Yeah, he reviews it like you would imagine someone on YouTube to review a car.
Yeah, and strangely enough, okay, this is a personal thing I do. It's like I try to humanize things that can't be humanized. Like the PZH 2000 tank destroyer that the German military uses. You can never fucking buy that. You know, you can never go into a dealership or a website and buy this fucking tank. But he goes and he relates it to just the fucking layman. You know, he looks at the tank and he says, okay, these are things about the tank that you think are important. You know, it, like, if in any weird fucking scenario you needed a Russian main battle tank, you know, you could go to his fucking videos and say like, oh, this is why I want a T-14 over a Leopard 2 main battle tank. You know, okay, let me just say this. If you are the defense minister of a country and you're going to somebody like Maximus Gaming to decide whether your main battle tank is going to be a Leopard 2 over a T-14, then maybe you should be impeached because you're a fucking idiot. Why is anybody listening to our podcast, dude? I don't know why anybody's listening to our podcast, because I'm fucking insane right now. And then bullshit, you yourself are just like just along for the ride as I just sink into a drunken stupor of insanity right now.
And with that, I'd like to thank all of our listeners. Thank you for listening to the FAPcast episode 002. It's been a pleasure, as always. And as always, our illustrious host, myself, and Bullshit, and my co-host, Definitely, we forgot to introduce ourselves at the beginning of the episode today. I just realized that. So let's just get that out of the way.
Just imagine the next 50 episodes being like this.
We don't want to scare them away. We want to reel them in with a false sense of security and the what's the word? The sham of us pretending to be intelligent.
Yes, the sham of me being sober.
For myself and bullshit, you can find me on Tumblr at mbullshit.tumblr.com. That's mbulsht.tumblr.com. You can find that same username, mbulsht, on Twitter and YouTube if you look for it. Don't look at my YouTube. Please don't look at my YouTube. It's been so long since I posted music. I don't even know what to do anymore. My Twitter is just incoherent screaming about magical girl anime. That's all it is at this point, really.
And my social media. Oh God, you're in for a fucking scare. No, you're actually not. Tumblr is where I post my artwork, which could be either a nun with a minigun or a long extinct Egyptian god with huge milky tits, because that's how I fucking run my Tumblr. That's how it is. Twitter is just where I spew whatever vomit comes out of my retarded mind. YouTube is where I try to take all that retarded bullshit and put it into a fucking video. And dumpster.moe, which, yes, .moe is a legitimate fucking domain extension. That's not my fucking fault. That's just the way fucking modern society is. That .moe is a legitimate fucking domain name. Don't blame me. I just fucking exploit this situation the way it is. Dumpster.moe is where you can find all the links to all my social media. And yes, that banner is porn, but you cannot see all of the porn on there. So have fun trying to figure out where it all is. And enjoy.
And, of course, anything we talk about in our show, any links we drop, any subjects we bring up, everything is logged in our show notes. You can find links to our show notes, which are all Google Docs, in the descriptions for our YouTube videos, and eventually we'll have a place for us to have them. We'll most likely, whenever we embed our YouTube videos on a Tumblr, we'll post the show notes with those as well. So if you would like to follow up and look at something that we've linked in our cool shit segment, or maybe just get a Cliff's Notes of the kinds of things we talk about, which, to help you decide whether or not you actually want to listen to the episode, because some people like to do that, you can find all that information in our show notes, which are attached to every YouTube video. And hopefully one day we will have another place to host just the audio. But for now, it's all on YouTube.
Yeah,
I just hit my microphone
just like
with another microphone.
Just like Greece, we have to take austerity measures because we're fucking poor. Yeah, and we'll figure that out in the future.
But for now, we're going to be spending all of the money that we make on this show entirely on alcohol.
Yeah, which
is 100% of which is going to go directly into a Nefmek's mouth.
Which is a horrible investment, because while I am more entertaining when I am piss fucking drunk, it's like, do you really learn anything? Have you gained anything from what I have said while piss fucking drunk?
I think about a question, and perhaps we will leave this up to our listeners. Go ahead and write us in on our Tumblrs. We have a Tumblr for this podcast, FAPcast, FAPcast.tumblr.com. Write in and tell us, have you learned anything from the show? If you haven't...
God save you.
God, I mean, really, if you have, God save you.
And here's where I attempt to close out Audacity. And instead of saying no, I say yes.
Yes, you would like to save. You can render before you save.
Oh, shit. Yeah, it's under export audio, isn't it? I could do that. But you know what? This is a sign that I am a true friend of Bullshit. Because instead of just constantly hitting yes to exit, I'm gonna hit export audio as a wave, because and bullshit's my friend, and we are true friends together. Regardless of what in bullshit thinks of the whole situation, we are friends. Which I'm thinking he's like. He's
Well,
just like,
you know what they
fuck.
say. You know what they say, and these are my closing words for today's episodes. For today's episode, God save us all, and thank Jim Sterling for us.